All right, so we got the hole drilled. I'm getting ready to set up the tip up. This tip up here, I have it lined with, I believe, either 20 or 30 pound braid, just the ice fishing line you can get. And then I have about a 3-foot leader that I believe is 15-pound fluorocarbon. And that's attached with a barrel swivel to that leader. And then I have a split shot there as a weight. And so when we set this up, we need to figure out how deep the water is and where the bottom is. What I'll do is I got a little sounder. It's just a weight that you can hook onto your hook. Attach it so. And then you just drop it down the hole until it hits bottom. Okay, so there's bottom. And then what I do when I'm rigging my setup up, I like to put a little button on the braid line, and that just helps mark where my depth is. So when I pull this up, whether when I catch a fish or just checking that the bait's still there, I don't have to resound the depth all the time. This helps mark the depth of where my setup is. So when the weight is on the bottom, I'll run that button down to the surface of the water, and then depending on what you're fishing for, today I'm fishing for pretty much anything, perch, bass. I'm gonna want it between like 12 to 18 inches off the bottom. If we were fishing for like salmon or trout, brown trout, rainbow trout, the setup would be a little different. We may put it just under the ice. We would use a much lighter fluorocarbon leader. But today we're setting it right near the bottom. So once we have it on the bottom, take that and I pull up about 12 inches and then another 12 inches. So that button now marks my depth. I'll pull up the line the rest of the way. All right, so once we have our depth figured out for the species that we're targeting, we can go ahead and bait our hook. And the hook I'm using is a size 6 bait hook. You can use like a circle hook. Those work really well too. The size of the hook more or less will depend on what you're targeting. For perch, you may want to use a smaller hook, or if you're fishing for bass or pike, you could get away with a little bit bigger of a hook. Same with the bait. I'm using medium shiners today. They work well for bass, and you also catch plenty of perch on them too. I take the hook and I hook it just in front of the dorsal fin, drop it in the hole, put the weight down, and then feed your line down until you get to that button that marks your depth. Once the button gets down there, just reel up the extra slack. Bring it so the button's just right next to the spool, and the trigger's by the wire. Hook the flag down. One trick I like to do is, if the wind's blowing, set up your flag so the wind is blowing it toward the trigger. If you set it up the other way, you'll get a lot more wind flags, and you'll be chasing flags and there may not be fish there. So this will just save you some running around. There you go.